This caused me to worry, but I think I had to also look at national level. I found out that at the national level, the females are more than the males, so that was not a worry to me. And now I also studied how many males register to sit for the PLE and fail to sit for the PLE exams. In 2010, I found out that 111 students had registered for PLE but failed, while 58 students had failed, male students failed to register to sit for the exams. So these are the percentage of students who sat for PLE. You realize that there are more females still who registered and sat for PLE. And now, I had to look at as well, is the enrollment consistent in the regions? Because we have found out that there are more female students who register to sit for PLE exams. Now I wanted to look at, is it consistent in the 3 districts? So these are results for 2010 to 2016. I found out that in Kwen district, there were 53% female students who registered to sit for PLE. And 47 of them were male. So the same applies to Kapchorwa. You can see 46% and Buko 46%. So this is the overall number of students who have registered for the last 6 years. That is from 2010 to 2016. And I also had to look at the different years. For example, 2010, were there more females or males who registered for the exams? The results still show that each year there were more females that were registering for the exams. This led me to ask a few questions. One of them was that what factors can be attributed to such a trend, whereby we have more females than males that do register for these exams? Now, there is a nice question that I failed to get data. How many students join primary 1 and stay in school till primary 7? I don't have such data that tells me how many of our students join and how many final sit for the exams. So this leads me to pause a bit. I'll try to answer this question later when I have enough information, because we may not really tell much about this. So this is all about the enrollment. You see, what I said is that in last year's PLE, there were 47% were male, while 52% were female. So this one means that the results we have are correlated. We should not worry much here. Now, what follows is that I want to discuss now the PLE results of our region. I will begin by first discussing the results that we have obtained since 2010 to 2016. Then later, I'll now talk of 2017 to 2020. First of all, I want to give a few definitions. One of them is that PLE grading system is as follows. We have grades division 1 to division 4. Then the other divisions that we have that are not graded, we have division U. So if a student scores division U, the grade, it's not graded. While division X stands for a student who registers to sit for the exams and fails to sit for it. So why I'm doing this is that I want you to really look at where our students lie. Majority of our students lie in which range. For example, division 4 in 30 to 34. I found out that majority of our students are in this division. That means that we are producing students of majority of them ranging from 30 to 36. Now, a candidate is deemed to have passed if he scores division 1 to division 4. So if the student scores division U, that student has failed. And he cannot proceed to post-primary. That means either secondary or another level. So now this gives a general picture of our students, how they perform. This one stands for Division 1, the blue color here stands for Division 1. I have arranged them in order. So this is Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, 4, U, and Absent. So in 2010, the whole Chebet region, we had majority of our students range between Division 2 to Division U. And now 2015, you can imagine our region produced very many Division U's. You can see this is very bad. You see, these are the number of students who failed to proceed 2015 and 2014. We produced very many students who scored Division U in 2014 and 2015. So these are students who don't proceed to high school. I had to look at different districts. This is the general picture. So for me, what I had to do is to study each particular district. What do we have for each particular district? So this leads me now to give you the general enrollment of our students. For Bukwa, we have registered for the last 10 years, about 20,000 students have sat PLE. While for Kapchora municipality, I don't have data for 2018 and 2020. So Kapchora has registered close to 3,000 students, while Kapchora main has 23,000 students. Has registered 23,000 students for PLE for the last 9 years that I discussed. So, and these are the grades. You can imagine for these 10 years, 9 years I studied, the Bay region has only produced 1,000 Division 1s, 1,000 only. While majority of our students, you can imagine, get Division U. This is 18,000 students. These are students we have failed. The students our region has failed 18,000. They cannot proceed anywhere. And then these 1,000 students are those who registered to sit for PLE, but they failed to sit for it. So you can imagine that we are producing many failures. Eh? Division U, if you call what I showed you, Division 4 is 30 to 34. So if you added 14,000 plus 18,000, that is around 32,000 students who are getting above 30 aggregates. So this is what our region has produced. For 10 years, have been producing. We cannot even reach 2,000 Division 1s in our region. Please, I am going to discuss with you, I think, for particular districts. Let me begin with the Bukwa district. Just a minute. So, sorry. So this is for Bukwa district. Bukwa district, I looked at from 2010 to 2019.
Okay, Ben, you have 5 minutes. Huh? You have 5 more minutes.
I'm soon summarizing my work. So when you look at the results of Bukwa district, I have specified in Division 1 what the Bukwa score. Division 2, Division 3, and Division 4. So these are the results. You can imagine still in 2015, we had the worst performance in the region, in the district, sorry. We had many students scored Division U, and these are students who failed. And 2014 also. So you can imagine 2019, this a bit, the district improved. I looked at the performance of Bukwa in 2019. They were not the last, among the last 5 districts in the region, in the country. So you can imagine they had more Division 2 and Division 3. So these results shown are for Queen district. Queen district, you can see what they scored. They were only 13 Division 1 students in 2010, and the number has always been between 10, 20 to 30. And imagine this is what Queen has been registering for all that time. And for Kapchorwa, I have also done the same for Kapchorwa. How they have been performing. This is a plus for Kapchorwa. In 2012, they registered very many division 2s. I think the number of division 2s for Kapchorwa for the years 2010 to 2016 has been good. Now, this can be explained for 2017 and 2019, reason because we now had the new district. That's the municipality and Kapchorwa main district. So the number of division 1s, division 2s shoot to almost 0. You can imagine they now reduced from 88 to 12, and the number has been reducing. Now, this year's results of 2020, I don't have the results, but they seem to be almost correlated because Kapchorwa was second last. So that means that Kapchorwa's performance is reducing, decreasing. So, and this is for the municipality. I looked at the municipality. I only don't have results for 2020 and 2018, but you can see that the year 2017 and 2019, when you compare the two, the municipality has had an increase in the number of division 1s from 60 to 116. And the number of students who fail in the municipality, I think there are few, as you can see from this figure I've shown you, that 2019, the number of students who scored division U reduced in Kapchorwa. And finally, I had to look at the performance of the females and the males in the region. So this figure shows how our female students are performing as compared to the male students. You can see from this table here, Queen has 33 females that scored division 1 for the last 6 years that I studied. This is from 2010 to 2016. So Queen has had, I think, the number of female students who scored division 1 are only 32 for 6 years. These are results that a school scores outside our region. So the results are not so good, as you can see. We are having most of our students score division U. You can imagine Queen failed 3,500 female students in these 6 years. This is a very big number. Because where do these female students go when they just give up? And finally, this is an overall performance of our region. You can see which district is doing well from this figure for the 6 years. Queen, Kapchorwa, and Buko. You notice that I think Kapchorwa is doing well. You can see they have more division 2s than any other district. The district which has issues is Queen. You can see they have very many students who have failed in 6 years' time. You can imagine they have 5,000 students. So I think Buko follows. Yeah, but Kapchorwa has been performing well. This is before we had the break. We had the new municipality. And 2020 results were not good, as all of us know that we really ranked last. Municipality was number 110 out of 169. But then I looked at the national ranking. Our municipality was the worst ranked urban town in the country. So they tried, they got 110, rank 110, but they were the worst performing urban town in the country. So they are not good at all. So Buko was ranked the last with an average aggregate of 30.1. Just imagine what they have. That means that majority of students from Buko scored aggregate 30, between maybe 28 to 36. That means that we have very many students who failed from Bukwa district. I just don't have data about PLE of 2020. I would really would have loved to look at how they performed, but this is very poor. This is poor. Even Quen, Kapchora Main and Bukwa, the results are not good. They are really not good at all. So what next? What next is that, what should we do then? I ask a set of 4 questions that we should really look at. One of them is that, how does the district administration influence the performance of pupils in PLE and UCE in Chebet sub-region? That is a nice question. How do districts really influence this? This should guide us if we are to solve this problem of poor performance in our region. Then number 2 is that, to what extent does the school-based factors influence the performance of pupils in PLE and UCE in our region? This is a nice question in that there were some comments that were raised on media. If you follow NBS, NBS came to interview our people in Chebet region. And there is one of the questions which was raised, that the teachers in Chebet are ill prepared, they are not competent. Something I don't agree with. So it's nice to ask, it's nice to answer this question. So this goes to ask the teachers. How do the school-based factors influence our business at school? The number 3 is that, how has the community contributed to the poor performance of pupils in PLE and UCE in Chebet region? This is a nice question also, because if we know, or if we get answers to this question, how the community is contributing to this, then we will be in the right direction to solve our problems. Because our students who leave Chebet region to other regions, they go and perform very well. I can testify to you, there is one of the students I taught in Chebet College. He came from Kasarem, and he scored, he passed very well and got quota, district quota, to go to Mbara University. He went and sat, I think, education, Bachelor of Science Education, Biology Chemistry. In 2020, when I was graduating with my Master of Science in Math, he was graduating with undergraduate degree. He was the best student in the whole Faculty of Science. He was the best student in the whole Faculty of Science. So he got a reward, and he will join the Wall of Fame at the university. So okay. You can imagine students who.
Hope you're summarizing time.
Yeah, this is my last slide. So it's nice to know why our students in Chebet region, when they leave our region to other regions, they perform well. So could there be some factors that the community is contributing to this? Then the last question is that, what practical interventions can be put in place to improve on the performance of people in our region? So those are the nice questions that we really need to answer. And towards my conclusion, I did not include the results for 2019 here. I have some summarized results of our region, showing which schools are doing well and which schools are performing poorly. So for example, in 2019, the worst performing this school in Quen district was Piswa Primary School, which had a failure rate of 60%. While in Kapchora Main, the worst performing school was, this is Kapchora Main, the worst performing school was Kapsikwa Primary School, which had a failure rate of 51%. While for Kapchora Municipality, the worst performing school was Kapnige Primary School, which had a failure rate of 52.6%. For Bukwa District, the worst performing school in 2019 was Talmugon Primary School, which had a failure rate of 68.9%. This is a school which registered 28 students and 19 students scored Division U. 19 students scored Division U. That means that out of the 28, only 9 students passed in that school. So that is how bad our performance in Chebet region is. So I thank you for listening to my talk. I'm so grateful to the organizers of today's function. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sorowan, for that detailed report about the status of education in Chebet. As you realize, members, I think his report is mainly in primary, in the primary schools. Let me hand over back to the chairman to guide us in the discussion. Thank you. Over to you, Chairman.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. I wish we could clap for you, but we can't. Just know we are so appreciative. You have done a thorough job to the task that we gave you. I don't know how we can appreciate you more. Colleagues, you have heard it. It's just a brief presentation, but the picture is a grim one, not very promising. Now, I think we are sure now that when we go into the main meeting, Ben will have done for us a thorough, detailed analysis of even up to 2020, so that while we speak, we look at the figures, because the figures are what speaks out the facts, not just merely hearsay. So Ben, thank you very much for that presentation. Colleagues, we now want to open up to the discussion. And I would like to request that Milton, since you are more technical about this IT thing, that you would moderate the discussion. I don't know how we can do it. Can we react to aspects of my communication, or we look at what Ben has said first? Members can guide on that. But I think let's go forward.
I think the issue here is, I think Ben raised questions that we should now deliberate on. But just to remind you that some members could not log in on Zoom. They have technical issues. Some of them have not uploaded Zoom app on their phones. So what I've done is to stream it also on YouTube. So it is also streaming on YouTube. So someone can follow on YouTube. So members, what we're going to do is to react. I think we are now going into way forward, because we have had a lot of I think we have a lot of qualitative data that we now need to go into practical session. How do we move forward? So what I will do is I'm opening it for discussion. So you simply raise up your hand, then I can pick on you, but I'll start with the head teachers who are in the house. I want to start with the head teachers who are in the house. Just raise up your hand. We appreciate your presence here, and even our elder educationist, Mwalimu Aloysius Chebet, is here with us. So please kindly, when you're set to submit, depending on the questions which were raised by Ben, please simply put your hand, then I can pick you. Meanwhile, our secretaries are also busy. Our chat box is also open. You can also drop your question on the chat box. So I see Mwalimu Chebet Aloysius, maybe I will give you the opportunity. unless you say you want to sit at the back. Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, I can hear
Do you
you.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I greet everybody who's on the platform right now. I've been trying to join, I'm suffering from analog. So at least I've got, I missed part of what Ben was presenting. But what I know
Yes.
is that Ben was giving us a thorough analysis of where we are coming from. So members, I advise that like good doctors, we need to do a thorough diagnosis of the problem facing our education sector. Ben has given us some of these to show exactly where we stand, where we have come from. So the diagnosis is there. So I think what we need now to look at is the remedy. What remedy do we give to the problems we have diagnosed? Why is it that we are perpetually performing poorly? Yet, as Ben has said, our children are bright. This is evidenced by the fact that when our children go to other schools, they are the best, which means the problem is not the children. That one, we have eliminated that one. So what is the biggest problem? For me, I think the teaching and learning environment is the biggest obstacle we have. So the next question, if we have identified that teaching and learning is the problem, what do? We further dig deeper to check what really stops us from achieving our instructional objectives. Because we can see this from the results, that actually we are not achieving what we think we are doing. If I want to put it very unpolitely, I will say some of us teachers have actually not been teaching, but parroting. You can only prove that you have been teaching if you can prove that somebody has learned. And the only way you can prove that a learner has learned is through giving an examination or an assessment. Fortunately or unfortunately, that the assessment now is national. They will not see why we have not performed well. They'll just give us the raw results. Capturwa, as usual, is on the tail. This is very bad. For some of us who are outstanding, they say, Chebet, you who has been a chief educationist for the whole region, and your district or sub-region performs like this, I want to hide my face in the sand. But I'm saying that will not help. We want to walk proud like the rest. What is our problem? We have seen that the most probable problem is the teaching and learning. So we have to examine ourselves as the professional, the teachers. Are we really doing what is expected out of us? Are we really giving the instruction objectives when we are in the classroom? Or we go there as mercenaries? Because I've known some schools which are performing, teachers actually go there and they ensure that the learners have learned by giving them thorough teaching, using the best methods of teaching we have been taught in colleges. We must motivate our students. Do we do that? If we don't, what is the problem? People have stated somewhere that we have low quality teachers, and I've said categorically, no, our teachers are very good, but maybe we lack motivation. So how do we get this motivation? That's now we look at around the thing like PTA. How does the teacher liaise closely with the parent to ensure that our target, the learner, learns? Are our boards of governors working? Do they know what they're supposed to do? In the primary schools, do the school management committees know how to do the governance of the schools? When I ask these questions, what comes in our mind that there is a big problem? So how do we solve it? We as the teachers, how do we solve it? Do we do our part? Do we, for example, share with the parents that this child is not performing very well because of 1, 2, 3, 4 things? So that if these things are addressed, maybe and most probably our students will perform well. Don't forget that some of us teachers, if not all, we're also parents. But the other parents of us who have not had the opportunity to be trained, we have to teach them. So I'm saying number one from now on, let's liaise closely with the parents. Let's liaise with our students. Because some people say, for us, we go to class after teaching, that's the end of the story. But I think now let's put a bit of patriotism. Patriotism now means how do we work as children of home to ensure that our own perform well. Let's have the spirit of giving here, that we actually need to put more effort on this. Do we have teaching and learning material? If we don't have this teaching and learning material, should we cross our hands? No, we must not do that. That's why I'm saying that the 9 members of parliament, our caucus, when they meet on 6th of this month, must very clearly talk about the issues of education, poor performance of education in this district. Teachers, you make a very big impact on leadership. Let us engage our MPs. I've seen our MPs are very positive, by the way, but some of us are lambasting them instead of asking them to give us good leadership. Please, those MPs are human beings. Let's bring them closer. Let's work closely with the caucus of our MPs, the 9 of them. Let us work very closely with LC5 and all the councillors. We are the beacon of society.
Okay.
If our district fails, it is dying because of us teachers, that we have taken a laissez-faire type of approach to our job. Please, I know we are not well paid. I know maybe we are not recognized in society, but please, let's know that we're a beacon of life. Mr. Chairman, let me put a comma here and give others a chance to talk. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Senior Educationist Sebei Sub-Region, you raised very pertinent issues. I think you've already given us some way forward, and the secretaries are doing their part, capturing the way forward. You raised the issue of teachers, and I want to specifically pick one other senior educationist. But if you have something to say, you could put up your hand. I hope his network is clear. Mr. Chelimo David Satya, in a chat box, not in the Sebei teachers group, he raised the issues of the teachers in primary, how teachers are not doing well because of different factors. And Mr. Aloysius has said probably, you know, our teachers are very good, but because of other factors, they are not performing. So I want to give this opportunity to Mr. Chelimo David Satya. I hope you're there. I've asked you to unmute and submit, sir.
Me?
Yes.
Hello? Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, the organizers, and all those who have managed to be in this Zoom meeting. Well, let me thank the presenter for having put it. I think some of these graphical presentations, I think, give us the real problem. Sometimes when people look at figures, they may not understand, but I think if we had availed these graphic presentations to all, I think they would see where the problem is. Now, I think it all goes down to the teacher. It's not that our teachers are poorly trained. I think every teacher has passed through the training college and they meet the minimum requirements. That's why they are registered. So I think let's drop the issue of us having poorly trained teachers. I think the question is the many factors. I think some of them I put them. There's a question of that our teachers have multiple loans, and at the end of the day, they take home nothing. And so sometimes somebody doesn't see why he's going to school to teach. Even the community does not see. So there's that. I think that may not be applicable to all, but to a few, it is a problem within our region. That's why I posed the question in that chat to say that if you were to ask many of our teachers on payroll whether they knew even their ATM PIN number. You'd find that somebody of you would tell you that for the last 10 years, they've not gotten hold of their ATMs. Now, the other question, or the other issue that is very common with our teachers is that I think maybe many of us joined the profession because it was the only alternative. And so we do not love our job. We are not committed. We do not go the extra mile to see to it that our learners have learned something. But you find that most teachers go to class because they are supposed to go, but not that they want to go and come out when their learners have learned. But they go because they want to fulfill the requirement that their timetable, it doesn't matter. So our teachers are present at school, but they are not. They're absent in class. There's absence of content because you find what they are teaching is not what they ought to be doing. Now, on a general thing for the region, there are issues that need to be tackled by the local governments. I think I remember Kapchora local government passed the bylaw that lunch was to be provided by parents to all the pupils. But when it comes to implementation, you find that it's not implemented. Now, and then there's the issue of that. Now, when this is implemented, a few of our parents ran to the RDCs and accuse them that they're against the president's mandate of free education and so on. And so this discourages the administrators. Now, even at secondary, I think we've seen administrators, especially in those other day schools, they're reduced to doing quantitative work, not qualitative. You see, you have issues of sending our students for fees, parents coming to line up to say, they give them 2 weeks after you have given them 2 weeks. So you find these are taking away the teacher from going to inspect, to see qualitative things, but you are now handling quantitative, things, whether the teacher is present, how many why are they not present at school? Not even going to see whether they're in class and what they are teaching. So I think we really need to re-evaluate ourselves, that we come together and now say, most of us, I think the majority of us went through this district. And so what is it that we are going to give back? I think an interesting, something that I've noted over time, that through my teaching career and as a head teacher, I noted that the quality of learners seems to be going down year after year. I don't know, because when I began in the late 80s, the type of learners that you would get in class and would challenge you. But over time, I do not know, it's something that I have not done research, but that's what I have observed. And so we still need to do more research, but we need all people to come down and accept that we are performing poorly. All of us need to do something, we have to go the extra mile, whether it means giving in the extras, because the question of teacher availability. Many of our teachers, like at secondary especially, somebody just comes when he appears at school, when his timetable, thereafter he disappears. So even if a student had an issue, you find that they cannot be able to contact the teacher for help.
Okay.
There may be the issue of finance. I think Mr. Chebet Aloshas will agree with me that when we began teaching in Chebet College in the 80s, there was no PTA. But I think some of us offered our best. I think to date, nobody has broken my record in Chebet College in the number of distinctions that I produced in 1989, yet there was no PTA. So it is a question of the teacher dedicating himself and wanting his learners to succeed. Okay. I'll give you a case scenario. I remember I had a teacher, a Muganda lady who came to us in CPSS. We gave her to teach commerce from senior 1. Because she was a very committed teacher, she was able to turn commerce from being the worst performed subject to the best. In the very school, and nothing had changed. But soon after she left, we are back to square one. So I think it is a question of commitment. I think let me stop there and give others opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Chelimo, David Satya. I chose him because he's one of our senior educationists we have in the house, and we couldn't just continue without hearing from them. So members, you've heard from the previous presenters that we have issues, and I think they have already identified the different stakeholders that needs to be looked into. I like what Mwalimu Chebet said about the SMCs, the school management committees, the board of governors. I think the board of governors in some of these schools are actually not operational. And probably now our way forward is how do we activate this? And then when you look at the teacher, yes, sometimes it's true that teachers get into the profession when it's the last resort. But once inside there, you can learn to love your job. Some of us have done so. We've had teachers like Ben, when they have been teaching in those rural schools, they have turned the results. James Nyokos in Chamanga was very committed. So perhaps the question is, how do we get the teachers, you know, to love their job? Mr. Martin Malinga, let me ask you to unmute and say something. We are trying to get solutions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chebet. Allow me first of all thank Mr. Ben for his presentation, as well as Elder Chebet and Mr. Chelimo. My thinking is, it is the teaching that is actually contributing to the poor performance. And as I said last time, our teachers have actually changed from teachers to readers who go to class and read notes instead of teaching. There is also the element of practical teaching in terms of going to class and doing the actual teaching. That is no longer there. As Mr. Cheptoris, Honorable Cheptoris one time noted, we now have plastic teachers, not the kind of teachers that were then there. I'm happy for what Bonabel is saying. And it's my thinking that now that this meeting has started, let's go back to the drawing board. Teachers do not actually do the teaching. It is true that administrators maybe are also not doing their part, more so in supervision of the teaching and learning. This cuts across up to even the local governments, the inspectors, the head teachers, the education officers. So everybody should do his part. Because if the trend continues, then you wonder what output we're putting to the society. As somebody one time observed, errors of doctors are better because when a doctor makes an error, the patient dies. But the errors of teachers are bad because when a teacher makes errors, you produce students who move to the community, who turned up being thieves. So we are actually increasing criminal rate as a result of the poor performance. As of now, I will end at that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, you're also in the leadership position, so we want to see what you're you're doing. You know, I'm very sure that you'll do something there. And the reason why we are now looking for solutions and we are saying that we can do this is because we seem not to be seeing what a leader should be doing in our schools. I just want to give you an example. By now, the results of Senior 4 have been released. But can you imagine that some schools in our region have not analyzed the results? So we want to find a way of compelling our schools to act. And I like the fact that the MPs are sitting in the caucus, and I know that education will be one of the major agendas, and they will come back to us, even the teachers, to find out the solutions. Okay, do we have any more head teachers in the house? Jamesy, you've gone silent.
No, it's okay. I was following the discussion.
Okay. So if we have any other head teacher in the house, please, you can let me know. I unmute them, or they can even raise up the hand. But also any other person. Okay. So I just want to, I've seen in the issues which are very key, and you really see the passion in them. I just want to ask Martin Arosho that when he was in Chebet College and Chamanga, you know, we don't want now to jump to Namagunga, but want to look at now when you are in Chebet College and Chamanga. What are those things that you would see that was failing the system because you worked in those places? I've asked you to unmute because now no one is raising up the hand. I will pick whoever is here. Please don't go off. So Martin, I have asked you to unmute Arasho. Yes, Martin. Martin, your microphone is on. Elijah, you're coming next. Cherop.
Okay, Mr. Milton, thank you so much. Noted a few. I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yes.
Yes, first of all, there is a lot of
Okay. Martin, you have muted. You have muted yourself.
all right, I think I have now unmuted. I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Well, I wanted to say that there are quite a few things that I noted while I was in Chemanga Seed, and these are very serious issues compared to other schools where I have been teaching. First of all,
Yes.
the rate of absenteeism is too much, too much, in that teachers would fail to come to school, and even those who are in school would fail to teach. You find teachers are seated in the staff room, they are basking under the sun. If you go to class, there is no teaching. Secondly, I discovered that there was a lot of absenteeism while in class. A period, say, that goes for 40 minutes. You discover that a teacher goes in 15 minutes late and goes out like 10 minutes before time. And if you go to the class and ask the learners, where is the teacher? They say, oh, the teacher has gone. He has left us with the notes to copy. And when you try to calculate this time lost, you realize that in a week, a teacher is losing almost 40 minutes per week. How about for the whole term? So that was another challenge. And then the other challenge is that everybody was not caring. Nobody is caring at all. I remember unpacking the first materials from the headmaster's office. I removed the beaker, removed the filter funnels, and I met wonders, and students were calling me like I was a witch. When I told them to mix soil and water and filter, they couldn't believe. But these apparatus were locked up in the teacher's office. Then the textbooks that were supplied by the government, they were very clean. I had issues removing these textbooks from the teacher's office. Yes, very clean, untouched. So I removed about 48 textbooks, and then I took them to class. I gave the students, it was the first time for them to open a textbook in Chemanga and all this. So for me, if we narrow down into these problems and see how we can solve these problems, I see there is no problem. When the teacher is absent, the students also learn that, yeah, being absent is okay. When the teacher goes to class late, obviously the students will know that there's nothing serious about this teacher. Yes, so those are a few observations I made. And then, of course, there was a lot of bitterness in the school. Teachers are beating students left, right. Watchmen are beating students left, right. It's like a military institution. Though in these allied military institutions, there is no beating, no caning, but the whole environment is very aggressive, very hostile for learning to take place. Yeah, so those are the things that I was able to notice, to note. And I would like to testify, Mr. Chebet, Milton, that while teaching in Namagunga, the only lesson I have missed in Namagunga since 2015 is the reason why we have good performance. Can't miss lessons, but here missing lessons is very normal. They give numerous excuses. For example, if somebody died from Capture Sombe, you reach Yamanga and all teachers plus their students have gone for burial to Capture Sombe there. So that day there are no lessons until they bury somebody. So you cannot really blame these learners a lot because of this very weak system. So that's my submission, sir, for now.
Okay, thank you so much, Martin, for that submission. So,
yes.
Members, you can see that still it goes to the teacher, but I also think that the administration, the school administration is lacking. And also what leads the school administration not to perform probably is also the inspectorate at the district may not be doing anything much, the leaders. So I think it still goes back to the top, moving down. Let me have Elijah. We are looking for solutions, remember?
Oh.
And asking us what you have been doing. Okay, yes, Elijah, we've been roasting about Gamatui results. But you've promised that.
Started in that mood, but it is okay. I'm okay with that.
No, it is.
I appreciate estimate Martin Chalangat for the presentation he has just given us. Mine goes squarely to the teacher. Unless the school administration tasks the teachers to be accountable, nothing much will happen. When I compare the results of the Quen Modern Senior Secondary School and Gamatui Girls Senior Secondary School, and I want Mr. My elder Chebet Aloysius to quote me right, because I now will meet him anytime next month.
Yes, he's here.
Yeah, I am aware, and I want him to quote me right. And I pray he does not forget to remind me when he comes around. And before he say anything, I want to blame him politely. Whenever Mr. Chebet comes to Gamatui, you see him at the gate, straight to the head teacher's office, From there, direct to the main hall for their meeting whatsoever. Most teachers have been wanting so much to interact with him, but he has been an island. It is not an
Wow.
abuse, it is a positive accusation. So,
Yeah.
if you come to Gamatui, most teachers want to interact with you. There are some things you have never had. We are very grateful for the issues you tried to settle in Gamatui the other day. And I am cocksure. Right. I know what I'm doing. Number two, if the school administration can allow the teachers to do their work without the interference of chairpersons, but most of the members of the board. And this one, I don't want to quote anywhere, anyhow, but I am very, very sure that most of the members of the board do not know their roles. Politics has come in so much that when you look at the teacher and politics, there is a lot of interference. There are board members who come in to follow up some teachers who did not support them in the previous elections. And they want to punish them either with the transfers, whatever, they don't even want to look at the performance of this teacher in his or her subject. Theirs is personal revenge. If we can not allow the teacher to work, let us separate outside things from inside things so that accountability will be very, very clear. Mine goes back to Mwalimu Elder Chebet Aloysius. We are ready to face the bull by the horns in Gamatui if you allow us, if you give us a leveled ground where there are no potholes and what have you. Please, before I forget, you cannot expect a cow which is not feeding well to provide you with a clean white milk unless you people accept to invest in education. Most of the school money is going into unnecessary meetings, forgetting the facilitation of the teacher in the classroom and outside the classroom. So teachers have no option but to go into other businesses so that they can catch up with this business world. Unless you people give us the money, there is no good you will expect from us. When you are talking without writing anything down, you forget. But let me assume I've touched some of the sensitive areas. I wish you could give Mr. Taifa a minute or two. He is very good at picking up what I have forgotten. Thank you very much. Once again, Chebet Aloysius Elder, please try to meet us, the teachers. We are in your docket of education. I know what I am talking about. I cannot say it here. Ours are bedroom issues. Thank you very much. I remain Elijah Cherop. Greetings to Mnyokos. And that is all. Thank you.
Okay. I thank you very much, Elijah. That is a very honest submission. I've really enjoyed your submission, and I wish the head teacher was also here. Now, I think let me. Yes.
I know she. Yeah.
Who?
I am very sure she will hear.
Okay. Let me. I just want to give Chebet Aloysius. His hand is up. Mwalimu Aloysius, I've asked you to unmute. If you can unmute, there are very serious deliberations here.
Okay. You get me?
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello? Am I on now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator, host. I've heard Elijah loud and clear, and I know Elijah speaks for very many teachers. Thank you for being so frank. I'll not defend myself on issues of Gamatui girls. And actually what you observe is what pertains on the ground. If you remember correctly, the other day, I had even to walk in class without being invited by the teacher, because I told them that when the board comes to the school, they must be given a chance at least to address an assembly. But we are a new board. The head teacher is a new lady. So I'm promising you, Elijah, that you will see more of me and you will see what we can do. Now that brings me to why I put up my hand. Is that honestly what I have observed as a problem is poor leadership in our institutions. Somebody has said somewhere that the school as good as the head teacher is. If the head teacher is not good in the leadership, don't expect much. I don't know whether the DO Kapchorwa is on this platform, because DO and me are on the board of Gamma Tree Girls. And I listened to him when he was talking at the board meeting at Gamma Tree Girls. And I know exactly that he's a man who knows what he's doing. So number one, are our DOs, DISs doing their job? First, to deploy good people with leadership as the teachers. I've been told that some teachers are heading schools because of mwanawanism. Mwanawanism is lagatango. What is the connection between me and the DO? So number one, what the DOs must do their is to deploy correct head teachers in the schools. Because whatever we do, unless the head teachers have their heads correctly pinned on their necks, we shall be wasting our time. Number next, the school management committees and boards of governors must be made to understand their roles in a governance of the school. Because when I went to Gamma Tree Girls, by the first board I've been a member to, I found that whereas there are guidelines on the board of governors, what they're supposed to do and not what they are not supposed to do, they're actually doing more what they are not supposed to do than what they are supposed to do. So DEOs, people who govern institutions, first of all, put correct governance, and number two, correct management. Because if you have a teacher who knows, who cares about the teachers, you will not hear what Elijah is saying. Because you cannot expect an angry teacher to go and teach effectively in class. So we must aim at getting what we call effective schools rather than successful schools. Some of these grades which you are seeing are deceptive, because we don't judge a school by how successful it is, but how effective it is. If you go to an effective school, for example, they will not wait for the teacher to be there to tell them to go to class, because they know a teacher's job is to go and teach students, irrespective of whether the administrator is looking at the teacher or not. So number one, Milton and everybody, we must put correct head teachers in our institutions. We must put correct boards of governors, people who know what education is. School management committee should know what they are supposed to be doing. I have been sending some posts to a platform of where I think Martin, who is here, knows. We have a post where there are very big education officers and high people in education. And I've told them that unless we put head teachers who know what they are doing, the education in our country, and by extension, education in Kapchorwa or Sebei sub-region will not improve, because we need correct people in these institutions. We need to know people who are supposed to know when the teacher is supposed to be given what to enable that teacher teach. It is true there is a lot of squabbles in the schools based on head teacher versus a teacher because of personal issues rather than things of education. So these things must be looked into. And that should be the board of the function of the governance body. Why is the teacher not teaching? When I went to Gamma Tree, I've seen so many issues, but some of them, you keep them under the flaps until you establish what the problem is. It is true some teachers are being victimized, but it's also true that some teachers are victimizing the students. Somebody has said, I think it is Martin Arosh, you go to a school, it looks like a military school. When I was in at the ministry are to drive to Kibuli and nearly will also beat teachers because they were beating students because they are not performing well in the mathematics. I told the teacher you were the one to be beaten first because you are the one who's supposed to make these children learn mathematics. So it is also true that some of our colleagues don't know their jobs. Instead of teaching, counseling the students, they use the corporal punishment as an alternative. Corporal punishment in most cases hides a teacher's weakness. So please, what I'm saying, we have analyzed a lot of problems, but what is the remedy? We should be looking at the remedy. That's why I'm saying DO, if he's not here, all the DOs, the 3 or I don't know how many DOs we have, the district inspectors should do their jobs. Because I've been to understand some of those people go and do other things rather than the job of it. The DIS, by the way, is supposed to be a colleague of a teacher. It's not supposed to be hunting a teacher. It's supposed to go to a school to guide the teachers in the teaching and the learning process. But some of them go there to harass teachers. I have never been that type of inspector, unless I have cause to be on your neck. So please, my colleagues, teachers here on listening to me, let's do our job. We shall make sure that the condition of teaching is favorable. That's why we want to awaken the PTAs, or awaken everybody to come forward. So Elijah and all our colleagues, please, let's look positively forward. The year 2021 up to 2026, we are not going to sleep. Some of us are ready to sacrifice whatever little we have to put on education because funding is a problem. But I'll fuel my vehicles and go to schools where I'm invited to talk with the fellow teachers because I get satisfaction when I know that I'm helping the society to improve. Thank you. Let me put a comma here and listen to other members. Thank you,
Okay.
Victor.
Thank you so much, Mwalimu Chebet, Aloysius. Those are very good points. I know the time is running, but we need to hear from the ladies. Yes, James.
Yeah, we are done 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And I was thinking
from
that
in the house, it will be very unfair.
Okay, fine, it's okay.
So,
but I was thinking, Milton.
Who was first, ladies? Sylvia. You want to say something? Sylvia, Godia, Emily. Let me start with the. Please, I said you can raise up your hand. Okay, Sylvia, I've asked you to unmute. I hope your network is clear. Just briefly, we should be ending in the next 7 minutes. Yes, Director Emirates. You have the microphone. Okay, the Director Emirates is not talking. Let me ask Godia, your microphone is
Milton,
on.
I have something.
Yes, okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, I was thinking that we have actually identified quite a number of challenges that our schools are actually experiencing, and actually are the cause of the bad performance. My thinking now is that we would look at the practical, the remedy now, the practical way forward. What do we do going forward? I mean, how, as a team now, what do we do going forward to ensure that, say, we get all the stakeholders to come on board to, understand their responsibilities, to speak as one voice, so that going forward, we can really address these issues. Because as you will notice here, we're just 20, but we may not do much until we think about, let's say, forming a committee of sorts that can, say, get in touch with the members of parliament, with the local council fives, with the DOs, so that we can network with all these people and finally find a solution. Remember that we also were saying that we want to organize a meeting where we now invite all these people on board. and see how best we can engage with all of them. So
Okay.
I don't know what members think about that. Yeah.
Elijah, in a few seconds, what are you saying?
Briefly, my concern is about head teachers who are online, but they keep quiet. I don't know where they want to speak from. We are their
No, they have
teachers.
been talking. They have been talking, yeah?
I've been following, but only one or two out of the over 11 we have. Then number two.
The teachers, yeah?
Okay, finally, listen to me, my final submission. There is something Elder Chebet said just about Gamma Tree, briefly again. I want to assure you, I think personally, Elder Chebet does not know me, but I want to also inform him that I'm another new teacher. Just like the head teacher is new, he is also new. New brooms in Gamma Tree, expect the best. Though we don't know all the corners, but we shall sweep clean. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. But you've not given us the way forward.
The way forward is
Now,
keep the head teachers in touch. Let them be in touch with us. That is all.
Probably you know, this is more of a planning. So I'm thinking that the committee here, James, can come up with a document and submit to the different stakeholders. You can come up with a document and submit to the different stakeholders, highlighting probably what we want to do, how we want to address the challenges which have been highlighted.
So maybe the other question is, do we have to do another Zoom meeting with some of the stakeholders? Is it possible? Is it even possible?
It is possible. There is nothing impossible under the sun. It is possible.
So what I'm thinking is that let's come up with a document which is backed up with what Ben presented, and we present in the forum. We present in a bigger forum where we invite them. That is,
they listen to the DE. We can make them. That document passes through the DEOs, but a small man from you, I don't think they can listen. Thank you.
Okay.
Emily, I've asked you to unmute. Okay, it seems the ladies who are here cannot say much. Chairman.
I'm here.
Okay.
I remember, was I asked a question?
To submit, we are looking for way forward. How do we move forward?
All right, I think I'll raise my hand when I'm ready. I'll raise my hand when ready.
Okay, because we are winding up. Okay, Sylvia, are you hearing us? Your microphone is on. Okay. Let me, senior educationist, David, I've asked you to unmute.
Okay. Thank you. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Now, when you look at the district council have
we seem to be losing David. Hello.
Panga din pa anda kati kan.
Hello.
Kan.
Hello. Okay, we seem to have lost David. Emily.
All right. Mine is not actually a way forward, but it's sort of a submission, a reason
Okay.
as to why maybe the performance could be really bad. Are you getting me?
Yes, we can get you.
All right. One of the reasons, according to me, could be that most of the teachers have the capability of taking their children to better schools. Now, since you have that capability, they pay school fees for their children in private schools. And
So that's what I was thinking, that we think of a joint thing, so that we can have a team of inspectors, so that there's effective support supervision other than one person. You know, we've had one person going to a school.
Okay.
All that he does is he just writes up a report. Rarely do we get inspectors from desk. They can never go to class. They just come and they go to any teacher's office because it's on a program to finish all the schools in a district. And so that is not effective. So we could have the district, the inspectors having a combined force, and then they do some effective support supervision, especially in those schools that have been identified as doing poorly. We could begin from that. That's my submission.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Chairman, over to you, Chairman. I think time is up.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Thank you.
The system
thank you, Milton, for moderating. I thank every member for the submissions they have made, for the challenges that they have identified in our system, and the recommendations that they have made. I think that because of the limitations of Zoom, sometimes we are not able to exhaust as much as we can, but at least this is a good beginning. So we will be continuing with other discussions on our forum, on our WhatsApp group. My request is that together with all of you who have attended, we want to form kind of a committee of sorts so that we can now push forward this agenda further. And we shall keep updating you on the forum. Otherwise, we're already thinking that we would actually engage with the MPs, the LC5 chairpersons, and maybe their councils, the RDCs, the head teachers in their associations, ASHU and the primary school team, UNATU. Would engage with the foundation bodies, the boards of governors, the parents, representatives, the DOs, so that if we form a team of sorts and address all these stakeholders, maybe they can begin to make some of these issues that are coming up, prioritize them and make them a serious thing, so that going forward, we can begin to see a change. So that, like you have told me, that we need to come up with a document. Yes, we shall try to liaise again once more with Ben, so that we come up with a document in addition to the presentation that he has made. Then we can now forge a way forward on how to go about this. Otherwise, I want to thank our senior educationists, the teachers, Elder Chebet, for his submissions, and we want to request him actually to be the leader in all this, to be our guide. We shall be using him time and again to reach out to some of these big people, like Elijah has already mentioned, so that together we move as a team. So colleagues, Elijah, you have your hand up?
No, we don't have time.
All right, so thank you so much. Maybe let's ask Elijah to give us a closing prayer, so that we shall now keep updating members on the group on what we are doing going forward. If there is any other meeting, we shall inform them ahead of time. Otherwise, thank you so much for your contributions.
Closing prayer, Elijah.
Is Elijah there?
Okay, let me give the closing prayer.
All right.
Everlasting Father, we thank you for this meeting. We thank you for all the deliberations. And we hope that all what we discussed will be for the good of our region, Chebet, that performance will improve and everything will be fine. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.